Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting simulcast live episode of Fast Charging with B&B. I am Brian.
And I'm Bear.
Yes, he is Bear. He is Bear. I'm going to turn my speaker down because I probably got an echo on you because I probably forgot to fix that.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How about you? You have a good week?
I did. Not much exciting going on apart from, all my upcoming events and whatnot, which are...
Well, so you have a event coming up in Canada, right?
Canada, yeah. It's called the Evolution 22. There'll be some guest speakers there. I want to say I'm going to be there. I want to say Tesla Herbert's going to be there. Nikki from Transport Evolved is going to be there. Yashu from Hit That Bid is going to be there. And I feel like I'm forgetting someone.
Me!
Bear's from Bear's Workshop will be there.
I will be there too.
And
that is, what is that, September 26th?
5th. September 25th.
In Vancouver, right?
Yeah, Vancouver, BC. So that is pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to be on stage. We have a dance routine that we're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And some other things.
We might talk about the future of electrification. Who knows?
We might.
Let us know in both chats if we're looking and sounding good. Yeah.
I know I'm looking good. I don't know about you. You seem a little off center on my screen though.
Okay. I'm centered to your face.
Okay. I have just recentered you. You look beautiful now, Brian.
Thank you. I'm getting comments that my wall is a little crooked because of settling. Which is, it's not just for houses.
Yeah.
It's something people do as well. When they buy a Buzzforks.
Yeah. The bricks have actually settled in your house. Yeah, that is a very common thing.
Yeah. So should we talk about stuff? Do you know California?
Yeah.
California is going to install solar panels over canals to fight drought and have some good cheap space upon which to build solar capacity.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Though the first section is going to be kind of small. I mean, they've got a lot of canals out there. They could really stretch that pretty far. And they are making it look kind of pretty. The way at least it's conceptualized in this picture. Mm-hmm. So if it looks like that, that obviously won't work because it's just going to catch water. So,
right. So according to the study, 13 gigawatts of solar power the panels would generate each year would only be 1/6 of the state's current installed capacity. So it's not the hugest amount, but there's 4,000 miles of public water delivery infrastructure that could get solar panels.
Yeah, and this is only 8,500 feet. So, and 1/6 is actually a lot of their installed capacity. It really is. Yeah. That's saying, hey, we're going to increase the capacity by 16% with this one project. So, that is pretty big. And if they keep going with it, you're talking about a lot of capacity without using any land.
Right. And slowing the evaporation of California's limited supply of water.
California's never-ending drought.
Has anyone ever done this before?
Yeah, of course. India has done this. Of course, their version doesn't look as clean and pretty as California's concept. This looks like they just threw some racks over a canal and went ahead and hooked them up, and now they're supplying power. How long has this one been around?
Not long. It is just getting out of the pilot phase. So let's see, 2020. No, that's not right. That's a different number. I'm not sure. You know what?
Well,
I'll look at
this article's from 2020. So
actually, the inaugural part of it was in April of 2012.
Wow.
And the initial project was 1 megawatt, but in India, they could do, if they did just 10% of their canals, it would end up being, I had it here somewhere, 2,200 megawatts.
2.2 gigawatts.
Yeah.
That's a decent amount.
More than enough for a time machine.
Do you think that this will prevent people from using the canals as bathrooms?
I'm going to say, based on these photos, maybe not.
Yeah, yeah. But that would be an added benefit, so maybe it
Yeah,
will
yeah,
help with the sanitariness of
yeah.
their
That's the thing
waterways.
I know they've been working on, is improving
Yes.
sanitation generally. And for a nation that size, that's quite a challenge. So, yeah.
Yes. Well, it was good during the pandemic. They did not have a toilet paper shortage. That was good.
No, no. Boy,
If you don't use it, you can't have a shortage.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I am funny, aren't I?
So, you know that California has voted that they will ban the sale of gas powered cars by 2035. That only includes light duty vehicles, so your heavy duty vehicles will still be available. And it doesn't include used vehicles, so you can still
Resell them. Yeah.
resell them. So
And,
gas
and what
will be
else does it
around for-
include?
What else does it include?
Not include
What else does it not include? What?
plug-in hybrids.
Oh, really?
That's what I got out of this. That you could sell plug-in hybrids.
Yeah. Well, I think 2035 is far enough off that without plugging in, still gets exceptional mileage. So that's still better than nothing. And having the opportunity to plug in even once in a while, because what they really are going to need is chargers at apartments.
Yes, they are. The whole thing about the plug-in hybrid is, if you never plugged it in, the car is still going to run.
It's a gas
The
car. Yeah.
plug is optional.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you know that we've seen the reports that the plug-in hybrids are the least efficient of all the cars.
Are they?
Yeah, because people generally don't plug them in.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get range anxiety. You're going
No.
to go use your car. If I've got to plug in a Tesla, I go and I plug it in because I have to. If you don't plug in your Jeep plug-in hybrid, what happens?
You don't have juice. You got to make
You
it.
go like that. Aw, shucks, and you run on gas.
Well, at least you're getting the regen. Jeff was telling me last week, we were talking, and he was saying that he was going up a mountain pass in a Prius with 4 adults, and the battery runs down real quick doing that, and then you've got this tiny little motor trying to pull you up the hill, which is potentially scary. So with the bans coming, that's good, right? Because did you know a lot of states are going to follow suit?
Yeah, some are, some aren't.
A total of 15 states have backed California's zero-emission vehicle requirements. Washington, Oregon, Massachusetts, New York, Virginia, some others. So that means a lot of states will be following suit, which is good, because I think that means all of them will, right?
No, not necessarily. Some of the others, like Missouri, are not on board with this. Missouri, I think we did an article once where Missouri was one of the lowest ranked EV states in the country. Not far off from North Dakota. As far as registrations go, and it just seems like they are not into this at all. On a sad note that has nothing to do with anything, former Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev has died.
Yeah, I
Came
did
up
see
on my
that.
report. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I also didn't
So-
know he was still alive.
Well, I thought he would have been crushed with the weight of Italy on his forehead, but too soon? Too soon?
No, because that's an 80s joke. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't related to his death.
No. And I'm sure he's heard them all. Yeah, the Missouri Attorney General is running for a Senate seat. He's among a group of Republican Attorney Generals who filed a lawsuit in May seeking to overturn the decision to allow California to set its own emissions. So,
Yeah, I don't understand that. Just let them do whatever they want to do.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, just frustrating. It's like those states that wanted to pull all chargers and put
yeah.
invoices on, little line items on your CVS receipt, because those need to be longer. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and bought a
candy
pack
bar
of
and I got a
gum, and the
book.
good news
Yeah.
is I was able to wallpaper my bathroom.
Yes. Yes. I think there's still a lot of dealership stuff going on behind the scenes that are trying to stop some of the EV sales. Is kind of part of it.
I believe that absolutely.
Yeah. Which is,
And especially with Ford and others trying to move away from the dealership model for their EVs, it paints a bullseye right on EVs.
yes, it does. Just as a side note, JJ is highly offended that I'm not defending the sanctuary of the canals in India, and he's surprised about my lack of anger for the government overreach. But to be clear, JJ, these canals are owned by the government, so they could put whatever they want on there. So it's their sacred canals.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah.
So in my thumbnail, my title had a lot to do with Japan's problems, specifically with this bill and bills like it. Japanese automakers face California gasoline regulatory cliff that begins in 2026 and really runs out through 2035.
So what is happening in 2026?
Just tightening of emission standards. After 26, California will require automakers to produce 68% of new vehicle sales with zero emissions into the 2030 year. So they'll begin a phase in, it sounds like, and then it'll be at 100% in 2035. So,
What are the?
yeah.
Isn't there this thing about Toyota doesn't think like people are ready for EVs?
Yes, I feel like Toyota exec says lack of consumer demand makes the U.S. goal of 50% EVs by 2030 a long shot. No demand, Bear. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
I've never heard that before. Now, the market is really strange, and the amount of cars available is also really strange. And who's to say that if Kia and Hyundai and Ford were able to keep up with the
In a position to definitively answer this question. And the big thing is, over the next 5-10 years, we're going to see EV prices coming down. And as they do, demand increases. And then we're going to see them sitting on lots. And that allows impulse buyers and emergency buyers an opportunity to get into an EV that they really don't have today.
Yeah, a lot of people will not buy a car and have to wait. Me personally, notoriously never wanted to wait for a car. Before I bought my Tesla, where I had to wait, I think I bought one car in my life that I had ordered. And I know a lot of people are like that. And if they can't go in, buy it, and drive it home, then they're not going to buy it.
Right?
So, but I don't want to see cars sitting on the lot because I don't want to see dealerships anymore.
Yeah,
So,
that is also true. So apparently I had some lag despite running on fiber. Unacceptable. So the next one we've got here, some good news on Honda. Honda and LG, they're going to build a $4.5 billion EV plant in the U.S. How cool is that?
yeah, and that is pretty cool. It looks like I think it might be Oklahoma, unless I'm just getting. Because I was reading another article about this, and it said it looks like, or maybe it was Ohio. Could have been Ohio.
Well, there's so many.
Yeah. It's one of the states that have vowels at the front and the end. I just don't remember which one.
Well, it says here
So-
that they haven't announced the location. I think it was Panasonic that was debating between Oklahoma and maybe Kansas or something like that, and then decided both. We're going to do both.
What the hell? Here's some money.
Well, why would they want to build more factories making batteries in the U.S.?
Without demand, you would never do that.
Without demand, you would never do that. But is there any kind of financial motivation?
Oh, Lordy. Yeah, there is.
And by the way, the thing about manufacturing in China, the reason it became so attractive, 20 years ago is because labor was so cheap. But how much labor do you think goes into making a battery? Far less. It's all machines.
Yeah, yeah. That is definitely an automated production line, except for the guys loading the hoppers with the raw materials.
Right.
Um,
But considering the volume that comes out of factories like this, the labor cost per cell has got to be very small.
yeah, and the thing is, you're getting a lot of that money back from where else but the government. $35 per kilowatt hour, which is crazy. I think it's crazy. JJ brought up government overreach. I know this is good, and it's actually going to promote something that I'm very much in favor of, which is production in the United States, so that we are not dependent on other countries. So I'm really in favor of that, but $35 per kilowatt hour, that means the price of a battery pack just went down how much? Well, the goal was always to get it to like $100 or less per kilowatt hour, right? Wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
Elon would say that. Oh, we want to get to $100 per kilowatt or less. Well, this is a big step towards that because you're taking off $35 per kilowatt. So on a 100 kilowatt battery pack, what's the math?
Well, and on 100 kilowatt, you're talking $3,500. Failtrain pointed out if the minerals are sourced in free trade countries, it increases to $45 a kilowatt hour, which is yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what this is saying is for every car that they build, and this includes Honda, even though they're a foreign car company, if they source all the materials, they build the car in the United States, they're looking at getting $4,500 back. So it's Tesla, whoever builds a car here, their margins just went from that nothing to a little bit now.
But this doesn't go straight to them, does it? This is on the customer's rebate, which is a point of sale rebate. Somebody fact check us on that. I'm pretty sure that was part of the customer rebate, not the companies.
The biggest benefit from the IRA isn't actually the EV consumer credits. It's the $35 per kilowatt hour support for battery production in the country. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's saying.
Well, it doesn't really matter either way. It makes battery manufacturing in North America good. Jeff did point out that the problem with LG is that they make cubes rather than cylinders. LG has a pilot line for 4680s that they will be. So they're just a battery company, man. They'll make whatever you want to buy.
Yeah, I'd like my battery pack in my house for my solar panels made
To work.
Yeah, to work and not explode. But going back to this, Honda making battery packs in the United States, if they're going to use them in Japan, doesn't qualify, right?
Right. And so I'm getting several comments saying, no, that goes to the battery manufacturer.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
That's how I read it. So that's
Wow.
yeah. So that is a huge government giveaway, but that also is a major incentive for them to make the batteries here in the United States, source the materials from free trade or North American sources. So
Amazing.
it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
But I think it's exactly what some of these companies needed for a kick in the pants.
Yeah. Though I still think that the tax credit for the EVs is just plain stupid right now.
Do you think Ford's going to come out with any more trucks?
Maybe they'll have a mystery truck.
I hope it's an ice cream truck. So this article, unfortunately, does not have any pictures of the mystery truck. That'd be quite a get. And here we are on the verge of news. I assume it would be like a Ranger.
I'm thinking Ranger or Maverick.
Yeah.
I think they're going to call them the Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of
Lightning.
funny. Well, it makes
No,
sense
no,
because
I'm
it's
serious.
probably no. It makes sense because it's probably a little bit slower than the Lightning, and I'm telling you, man, a small truck is what a lot of people can use. When I
Yeah.
was in the '90s, I knew a lot of people who had little Rangers and little S10s. Was it the S10? The little pickup,
Oh yeah, that was a
because
tiny
they were
little
so
turd.
cheap and practical if you didn't need more than 2 seats. So that was pretty. And I believe Ford is finally taking it seriously. Stellantis got some ways to go.
Their car that they showed was cool, but they probably only have one.
Yeah, yeah. And it doesn't appear to be a dedicated platform, but just a rebuild, a retrofit of sorts into the existing chassis, body style.
I don't know. That body style was different enough that
Okay.
I thought it was cool, but I don't know if it's the frame and the chassis. I don't know how different that is.
Again, prototype versus reality.
Yeah, I've got some prototypes in my backyard also, and nobody's really interested in them. Maybe I should raise the price of them.
Maybe you should. Did you hear that Ford has increased the price of the Mustang Mach-E by up to $8,000 as orders reopen?
Yeah, that's a lot, but some people might tie this into the fact that the announcement of the rebates. But Ford said several months ago that they are losing money on the Mach-E's,
Right.
I'm glad to be able to contribute to that because my Mach-E is now scheduled for a build date of the week of October 3rd. So I will have that, and I will have caused Ford to lose some more money. Yeah.
And they did raise the price on the Lightning too. We
Oh, yeah,
talked
they
about
did.
that last week, right?
Oh God, that was horrible.
Was it? How much was it? I forgot.
Well, remember the Lariat model?
Right? It was like 70.
It was like
Nine?
$85,000.
Oh gosh.
It was like a $40,000 ad to go from like the extended range. It was hard. It was $20,000 for the battery, but when you increased the battery, you had to get other options, and it just went from that cheap. Oh look, it's $39,995 to all of a sudden, I clicked one button and it just cost me $40,000.
Right.
So,
My thought is, as long as the demand remains strong, make hay while the sun shines. Don't lose too much money. Work on getting your costs down. And I'm happy to see Ford raising the price on the Mach-E because I don't want them losing money. That's not a sustainable business model. And
Right.
the updated MSRPs are not that bad. They're comparable to other cars of the same size and specs. Roughly.
yeah, roughly, and
Yeah.
I'll know more for sure in a couple of months.
And Ford still has their $7,500 EV credit.
Yes, they do. So that is something that'll be coming my way also.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this car. I'm disappointed about the price increase. These cars are getting priced too high, and I still can't wrap my head around the fact that they cost more to make and they have less moving parts. So
I think it might be because the supply chain is new, where the existing one had 100 years to get in place. And being late to the game, they're probably paying the most for batteries.
So Model Ts didn't cost like an arm and a leg.
No, and they went down in price. They went down 70% in price over their production lifespan. So this could be also something that would happen. What I need is something with a third row. So the Kia
too.
EV9 has a third row.
And I think that's kind of a cool looking vehicle.
Yes, I'm giving more confidence in the camouflage one, and I feel I can see the lines well enough. The render, of course, is gorgeous, as all renders should be.
Yes.
And Kia generally makes everything that they say they're going to make, to put it politely.
That was so polite.
So polite.
Yeah. Good looking vehicle. Decent range. They're talking 77 kilowatt battery, probably up to 100. Maybe 350 miles of range, which would be great on a vehicle of that size, or anybody but Tesla. So I think it looks pretty good. I still want to see the EV7 and 8. I mean,
Sure.
They went from 6 to 9.
Sure.
Maybe that's a Elon Musk joke.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Edmunds.com believes it'll be in the $55,000 to $75,000 range, depending on options, which, for the size of it, would make it a unique contender.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
because
yeah,
there's
absolutely.
not much in that size to begin with, let alone in that size and price. But Kia has very low margins on their cars.
I wonder if you actually saw one of these in person, if it would be like the size of not quite as big as you think, and maybe it's like a Kia Soul.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Because these pictures do not provide perspective.
No, they don't. And though they do call it a full-size SUV.
Yeah, I don't know if that's binding.
Yeah, because like if you put it next to a Tahoe or an Expedition, would you be like, oh my God, it's like a little toy? Or
I suspect it'd be much, much smaller than an Expedition. I think it'd be barely an Explorer.
It calls itself a full-size SUV.
But you can fit, it's got a third row. You can comfortably fit 6 Asians in it. So we've got some other inside news. What? I'm talking about statistical average heights. 2024 Chevy Silverado. First interior photos. Exclusive. So exciting. I'm ready for it. What is this?
Well, this is a flashback to 1997.
Yeah.
That's my MacBook G3.
Yeah.
Yeah, this screen right here is something pretty scary. This is the work truck configuration, and we don't know if these are the actual screens or if this is a joke or just some temporary test equipment.
Well, scroll down and you can see the press photos. It looks like the screen is very much the same. The side-by-side pictures there?
Oh, I was already on those.
Oh, you're on that?
I was on that. Yeah.
I'm telling you. This dash, it looks to me like I took my 96 Chevy into the car shop and got a fancy infotainment system off wish.com installed.
Yeah.
Because that looks very ad hoc. Your carpet is moving. Well, not now, but...
Yeah, that's my ginger dog.
Mm-hmm.
He had a reposition. He does that every 3 hours. You won't see him again.
Boy, I hope this is nowhere close to the final design.
That is awful.
It is truly
I have
awful.
one of these on order, and that will definitely lock me out of getting the work truck version. I'll pay $40,000 not to have that.
I'm getting a lot of comments suggesting that monitor is thick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that it looks terrible. We're doing great on time.
Yeah, and because we didn't come up with 37 topics also today.
No. Rivian, let's go for a bath.
Let's play it.
Yeah, might as well. I'm going to mute the sound on mine.
Yeah, I muted mine also.
So Rivian decided, not Rivian, this gentleman decided, I need to get my boat out of the lake And Rivians do all right in water, apparently. So he made a decision I would not, which is to buy a boat in the first place, and then followed by dunking his R1T. But it works. Did the job.
It actually did the job quite well. And to be honest with you, my biggest fear on this, not so much the battery pack, as you know that it's sealed, would have been just losing traction at some point. Because usually when you go into a lake, the ground is not like concrete. It's not smooth. And you're going through dirt, mud, loose rocks. And
you don't have full weight.
Right. And you are losing some of your weight because the air in the tires will make you buoyant.
Well, and the fact that water's not going in through the door means you have displacement.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Unless there is water going in through the door.
which there could be. And what I suggest is if you really want to test the durability of a vehicle like this, do it again, but in Salt Lake.
Yeah. Well, that's a big step. Maybe next time, just keep going. Pace the boat. Be side by side. Hey.
Yeah. Just get some different tires. I'm sure it'll be fine.
You get some paddle tires. That's what you get.
Yeah.
That's what they're called, and they have them.
Yeah.
Not for Rivians, but for dune buggies and stuff like that.
Minor adjustments.
Oh yeah, just some minor tweaking. I'm sure they can do that on Monroe Live. Work that out.
Yeah.
Some customization. Goon Squad could do it for us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's their next video. Get a Rivian, modify it so that it has paddle tires, and you can take it into the lake and drive it around.
Yeah. And they would, of course, buy it wrecked and then spend more than it would have cost to buy a new one fixing it up.
All right, guys, we've got all our brand new parts today, and it only cost us $86,000.
I was so relieved when they finally showed what it actually cost them. And I was like, wow. So you came out ahead by like $8,000 and put in $30,000-$40,000 of your labor. Okay.
Oh, well, yeah, but you don't factor in that they get 1 million views on each video.
Right, and merchandise and free stuff. And yeah. But it's a fun channel. If you guys haven't seen Goons Quad, it is very fun. It's a couple of young guys in Georgia living the dream.
And they are young, and for their age,
young.
They have a lot of car knowledge.
Yeah.
I believe when I was watching, I haven't watched in a couple months, but the last time I was watching, they were mentioning something about one of them was just turning 21 or something.
Yeah, they're real young.
Yeah.
It's Goons with a Z for the Goonz. Yeah. They're real fun. They make great videos too. So apparently there's some Nikola news going on today.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, so anyway, let's move on.
All right, we're moving on to Nikola.
Yeah.
Nikola and Lucid.
Nikola fires off.
First.
Nikola fires off exchange offer to acquire Romeo Power, and files for potential share offering. So, I didn't click to continue reading. There we go. Oh, come on. Please stop. Well, I can't see the article.
Are you on Seeking Alpha?
Yeah.
I'll give you a bad link.
That's okay. I went into reader mode. It doesn't
Here,
matter.
real quick. I will send you the link that I changed to and forgot to give you.
Just cover the story.
All right, it happened. I'm a little confused by this because I thought they were already buying Romeo Power, but it looks like they are acquiring them. They, like I said, I got lost on this article because they had put in an offer for Romeo Power a couple of weeks ago. So maybe this is where they're actually announcing that they're going to get the shares for them. I don't know. But I think this is more of just or Nikola commences exchange offer.
Right.
They'd already announced it. Now they're actually doing it.
Right.
Okay.
We're in the dotting I's and crossing T's phase.
Okay. Great, because it needs to happen. Because
I think it's going to be a really good fit.
It really will. But speaking of bad fits, and companies that have quality issues, Lucid. So they say. I haven't seen any quality issues on any Lucid Airs I've ever seen. But Lucid is going to be they've done a shelf registration so that they have the ability to sell shares. A lot of shares was what I saw, which was a little confusing. Like a lot, like over $1 billion.
$8 billion.
Well, $8 billion worth of shares.
Right.
But the amount of shares that they put on the shelf registration was like 1.2 billion, which is confusing as hell. And Warren Redlook had a video out earlier today on this, going, "Why are you putting up 100 or 1.2 billion of shares, and you're only going to raise $8 billion? Are you saying that your shares are worth less than $7 a share?" And I don't know if he was reading it right. Maybe he wasn't. But that's what it kind of looked like. This is not surprising. It was going to happen eventually, just like it happened with Nikola. They need more cash, and they're not doing it tomorrow, and they'll probably not do it in the next 6 months. They've got money in the bank right now. They had 4.6 billion cash at the end of the second quarter. So I think some of that was tied up in short-term investments. Some unknown short-term investments.
I'm growing concerned for Nikola. For Lucid.
Oh, you better scratch that.
Sorry, JJ. I am growing concerned for Lucid. Like we talked about last week, introducing the Sapphire, that doesn't address the core problem. You got to get production sorted out. You got to move units. You got to drive your costs down. You are dying.
I'm not going to say they're dying, but yeah, I am very concerned for them. I'm hoping that quarter three has it needs to be a lot better numbers. Deliveries need to be in the thousands, at least I'm going to say at least 2,000 units need to be delivered and more produced. They need to figure out what their quality issues are, and they need to move on from that. On the bright side, we have seen car haulers on our last few flyovers. There have been car haulers there every visit. So that is of course a positive.
One of the theories I heard is that the increased share offering could be an opportunity for the Saudi sovereign wealth fund to go even deeper into Lucid. But the conflicting opinion was, no, I think they'll dump them, and if they do, they're done. If they were to liquidate their position, the share value would collapse.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. They have 60% of the company.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
That's So Nikola also raising funds. Why don't you cover that?
Didn't we just do that? Or no, we did.
Well, they
I'm sorry. It's in the same article.
In the same article.
Yes. They're looking to raise, I think it was 200 million.
Yeah, not much.
They should have just asked me for what I got in my safe. But they're
moths.
Nikola's regulatory filing said that they plan to issue up to 400 million of new stock, and we all knew that was coming when they issued those new shares. With the vote that we took them months to actually complete. But speaking of that, we after all that history with Trevor Milton and him blocking the vote for the issuing of the new shares because he didn't want to get his shares diluted. Did you know that he bought shares last week?
I saw the rumor that he had bought more shares.
Only 3 million. Which is
what do you make of it?
I'm not sure what to make of it. I certainly don't want to see the man come back, and I know that there's a lot of people who think that, oh yeah, this is great, Trevor's coming back. but he could lose his case and have to give up all of his money no matter what he has. And he bought him at like $5.85 a share, which is great because he sold them off to other people at 70, like in exchange for the land in Utah. But I don't know what to think. Maybe he's trying to increase his position so that he's got a higher control, more control of the company.
That's not a big enough percentage, I would argue.
I agree. I'm just trying to think of all options.
Yeah. Do we know for sure that he bought it, or is it still in? Okay.
No, it's a fact.
Interesting. Speaking of legal stuff, did you see the cease and desist letter that Tesla issued to Dan Odowd from the Dawn Project over its absolute nonsense anti-FSD campaign?
Yeah, this Dan Odowd guy, he's like the Warren Redlick, like for Tesla, you know. He is out to get Tesla, and he has no problems saying or doing anything.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say that about Warren, but this guy is absolutely hates Tesla, just like Warren hates Lucid. That was a comparison I was making. This guy's an a-hole.
He's
totally made up stuff. Completely lied on the media that he was on, saying, "Oh, I've got no interest in this. There's nothing in this for me." Meanwhile, he owns a software company that makes full self-driving type software. No.
And he works with virtually every car manufacturer, with one notable exception.
Would their name start with a T?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it doesn't end with Toyota.
Or Tato.
I don't know if he works with them. Yeah, it's the cease and desist is very factually based. It is clearly written by lawyers. And the real problem is, if you look on social media, everyone believed the lies. The lies were so transparent, it even says on the screen, FSD engaged, and you look at the screen, it's not engaged. You can see it's not engaged. Mm-hmm. And yet, the clowns absolutely gobble this stuff up. And then they say, well, yeah, okay, so he got that part wrong, but what about the rest of it? No. When your video is 30 seconds long and it contains a verifiable lie, I don't have to fact check the rest. I can just assume you're being dishonest.
Yes. And it was very dishonest. I think Sam Alexander did a video on it, or somebody did, where there was an error message coming up at the bottom of the screen. And that message is saying that you're accelerating.
Right.
And full self-driving or autopilot will not work while you're accelerating.
I know Dr. Know-It-All went out and recreated as many error messages as he could to try and match it from the incredibly low fidelity video they put out. Jeff pointed out that Warren doesn't make up nonsense and rigged tests. Yeah, Warren's very factual, and I appreciate that. Whereas Dan Odowd is clearly making stuff up. We don't know what percentage, and it doesn't matter, because without the made-up part, that's the meat of it.
That's true.
Jeff is saying that Sam's video was great, so I believe that you were correct on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you catch one lie, you can assume they're all lies. Go ahead.
Yeah. One of the funny parts of the cease and desist, it's not only a cease and desist, but it's a demand letter, because they demanded several things to happen also. So they could have just taken stop doing what they're doing, but they also want disclosure of all sources for the funding of the test, issue a public retraction, and disclose all recognized regulatory agencies that endorse your testing methodology and or results. So if they don't do this, they've already laid down the groundwork to actually sue them. And I have a feeling that they're not going to handle 3, 4, and 5.
No, definitely not. And my question has always been, who is paying for this? And I saw people say, well, Dan O'Dowd's a billionaire. No, he's not. I checked every one of those celebrity net worth sites. He's a millionaire, a multimillionaire. But his ad campaign costs more than millions, and there's no way he put 100% of his net worth into this, of all turds, this one.
Somebody want to check to see if these videos were taken down?
Yeah, somebody can go check. I'm going to tell you right now, they have not. That would be big news. We would have seen that.
I would have thought so too.
But in fairness, we generally stop checking the news a good 2 hours before the show so we can prepare.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Well, we do.
Well, we have to shower and things like that.
You shower?
Well, with a hose.
Yeah, just grab some of the dog shampoo and you're washing them up. Getting them show ready. Yeah. So let's move on from that. We're doing great on time. Copper thieves are cutting electric car charging cables and stealing them.
Those turds. Yeah. Copper theft has been a problem for like a really long time.
Yeah.
And
but copper
I don't
is so
know.
far down from its all-time highs.
It doesn't matter. It's just easy to get to.
Yeah.
Do you know that back in, I think it was 2007, 2008, maybe somewhere around there, my mom's house was being built, and while it was being built, they came in, they ripped out all the wiring because it was just studs.
Yeah.
And all they had to do is cut one end and pull the other, and they ripped out all the wiring. It set the construction back probably about a month,
Sure.
which was horrible. And it's just like, this seems like such an easy problem to solve. If I buy Sudafed, I've got to show my driver's license, right?
Right.
Why can't you do the same thing for selling random pieces of copper?
Well, and there's only so many of these dealers who are able to buy it.
Right.
So, that's where you need to go. You need to crack down on them. If there's no
Yeah.
market, it stops.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to start smuggling the copper down to Mexico.
No. No.
So,
No. That would be a poor use of resources. Any hydrogen news?
yeah, let's give it a JJ. JJ.
The world's
We
first
got something.
hydrogen-powered passenger trains are here. And I don't mean here, I mean in Germany. And this is coming at an ideal time, considering the natural gas crunch that's about to begin in Western Europe. And I don't know if you read the specs on this, but they're ideal for the line. They have a range of 1,000 kilometers, 621 miles, meaning they can run the entire day on the network on a single tank of hydrogen.
Not bad, not bad. So how much hydrogen does it use, does it say?
No. If it does,
But
I
it
haven't
does-
found it.
Yeah, but it does say 1 kilo of hydrogen fuel can do the same as around 4.5 kilos of diesel.
Hydrogen is quite energy dense, and with the efficiency losses from a hydrogen fuel cell are vastly better than the amount of wasted heat and whatnot you get with diesel.
You sound a little excited by something that's hydrogen powered.
Well, this application makes sense. The Germany desperately needs alternatives to petroleum products right now, and I assume this is still using gray hydrogen, but if it is, they can instantly convert it to, what did we say, blue hydrogen, green hydrogen? Anyway, the good stuff, the
I think
real
it's blue.
blue. And they and because it's on rails, the risk of a crash, which could compromise the hydrogen containment unit, is virtually non-existent. So what do you think of it?
No, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's another step to alternative energy that can be used safely, more efficiently, doesn't smell like ass. You know, all those things are good.
And the big concern with hydrogen a lot of times people don't realize is once you've got the hydrogen, once you've got it to the station, you still have to you pressurize it and then compress it, and there's steps. You can't just have an endless parade of cars moving through your hydrogen station unless you've got $500 million of compressors behind the wall. But this has 64 storage tanks, 6 compressors, and 2 fuel pumps. So, and they only have to fuel each one of these once a day. So this will work. This was
I wonder
planned.
what the size of those tanks are.
Well, quite large, but the idea is that this is all planned. They know what capacity they need. They know what their routes are. They know what every step of it is, and they can plan it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's it for our news. So you got
That's
any
it.
exciting, interesting stories or anything?
Anything additional? Just that I'm going to be hosting a panel at Fully Charged in San Diego in like a week and a half. On September 11th is my panel. Easy date to remember. And on September 10th, I'll be a guest on another panel. It's very exciting. Going to be a big old celebrity. Got my shirts ordered and whatnot.
Did they ask you what kind of food you want waiting for you?
No, but there is a dinner being held for presenters where we get to actually meet all of the fully charged celebrities.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
including Robert Llewellyn, which will be great. I get to meet Robert Llewellyn. So I'm excited about that, obviously. And yeah, free food, man. What am I going to... Am I supposed to say no to that? Have you known me to say no to that?
Oh, of course not. James Wright just put a comment. Nothing about hydrogen is okay. What about poisoning the groundwater? This can't be good. I'm not sure how you poison groundwater by using hydrogen. So I would love to have some clarification on that. One of the things that we're doing at that expo in September is dispelling myths related to EVs. So I'm always into dispelling things that are not correct and are just floating around the internet. But I don't think I've ever changed anybody's mind.
Well, and I haven't
on
heard
anything.
I haven't heard that one about hydrogen. I can definitely tell you I have heard that about most forms of energy, and hydrogen, even when made from fossil fuel products, is not worse than other fossil fuel products, and it's still better than bunker oil. That's for sure. Jeff left me a super chat saying, "Come and meet Brian at Fully Charged Live in San Diego." And I see on your chat, JJ asked, "Will you sign my Nikola shirts if I go to San Diego?" Of course, JJ. Of course I will. That would be.
What will you sign it with?
What would I say? Well, I've got a week and a half to think about it.
I have a feeling you probably draw something phallic.
I have a feeling you might not have ever seen my channel before. Yeah.
Well, it's JJ.
Yeah.
I figured you'd do that to him.
Well.
James says it's a chemical reaction from what I've heard. Correct. The water as fuel. Well, the water really isn't fuel. The water is the byproduct of burning the hydrogen. But I have not heard anything ever of anyone saying that the exhaust from burning hydrogen is going to cause.
No, he's got a good point. It does emit a fairly steady flow of dihydrogen monoxide, which is dangerous. People die from it every day, and they die from a lack of it. It's crazy. It's results in many deaths, even at swimming pools. Did you know they have dihydrogen monoxide in swimming pools? Stuff's dangerous, yo.
Okay, so for like 10 seconds, I'm going, what the F are you talking about? Mm-hmm. But I assume you're talking about water.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you guys call it. But I've got the better water. It now has twice as much hydrogen as oxygen. Water's very safe. It is the ash of burnt hydrogen. It doesn't burn because it's already burnt.
God, that was silly. Do you think that expelling water out onto the roads when it's freezing could cause a problem?
No, I think the quantity would be too low. I think it'd be infrequent enough that it wouldn't cause a problem.
What if you got 8 Nikola FCEVs just convoying it,
in a convoy.
and the last one is just like hitting the black ice? Where did this come from?
Well, now who is this is saying don't quit your day job? Thank you. This is my day job, so I appreciate that. Yeah. We have...
Changing Frame says that water is not safe to drink.
Oh, I wouldn't drink it. I wouldn't drink it.
I wouldn't either, just because it's been through some pipes and stuff.
Right.
But it still could be kind of maybe an emergency.
I don't drink stream water either, even if I'm way up in the mountains and it's very clear. Just don't do it. Roger on your channel said, I'm not against hydrogen. It just isn't anything magical. I would agree with that. And that's why I'm saying for this application, it seems like a reasonable solution.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's just agree to agree.
Fine. But I'm going to thank my patrons for supporting the channel, all that good stuff. Interestingly, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I got 2 very surprising new patrons this week. Dylan from Electrified is now a patron of mine. And
I have heard that, yes.
And I was like, it was out of the blue. And also James Stevenson, who you may know on Twitter or may have seen in some interviews, is also supporting me. And I was just like blown away. It was very exciting. They do not appear on this list yet.
I got an email from Patreon saying, Dylan is now supporting my Tesla weekend. And I just kind of go, why did I get that email? But that's good for Brian. But I was notified by your people.
I assume that was Patreon doing that to try and get you to support more. Not sure.
I don't know.
And I also signed up to support Jordan Giesecke because he's got exclusive content and I wants it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got my live stream coming up tomorrow for Nikola, and then probably Friday or Saturday for Lucid. And I do want to thank all my Patreons for being my Patreons. I appreciate you helping support the channel. And Brian, you got anything else to add to that?
Yeah, you guys all know when my shows are. JJ wanted to know if I'm a patron of yours, and we actually had a discussion about that, and decided it would be a little silly to just support each other.
Yeah.
And we do so much to support each other already that, you know. I mean, we could lie and just put the names up and then not pay the fees, I guess, but we would support each other, so it'd be a wash.
Yeah, it would be.
And I support Bear by inviting him to speak at my events, you see.
Yeah, I'm riding his coattails.
That's right.
You know.
When you're this big, baby. My channel is small, but my fans are the best. Yeah. No insult to your fans. Some of them, believe it or not, also are my fans. Weirdly.
It happened like that.
Brian Borkowski said we should give each other $1 million. No way, man. You know what the taxes would be?
And the fees.
And the fees?
Yeah. Bad idea.
Just give you some IOUs. Well, Bear, I do want to thank you for taking the time and hanging out with us.
And Changing Frames asked this question earlier. He's asked it again. And we can answer this real quick. Brian's going to speak for me. He's got a whole spiel on this one. What do you think of Fisker?
Oh, vaporware. It's not going to happen. He's got design experience. He does not have manufacturing or execution experience. He's taken the money and run already once, and he's going to do it again. His plans are grand and bold, and as we've seen from companies with far greater cash reserves and competence levels, manufacturing is real hard. And Henrik is kind of a piece of garbage.
Yeah, but that's just a whole nother story. All right, well, I think that's about it for today. I want to thank everyone again. I want to thank Brian, and we are going to be back here next Tuesday with another sustainable energy show, or whatever we're doing. Yeah.
Take care, you guys.
All right. Thanks for watching.